The time for silence is over. Sometimes political streamers just agree with everyone. Hell no, man. Some people are stupid. They need to be shown that they're stupid so that way they can educate themselves out of stupid positions. And that doesn't make the individual stupid. Don't confuse me. That makes their belief on that one topic ignorant or stupid. If you keep searching for truth and you keep following the evidence to lead you to the truth, I've got all the respect in the world for you, regardless of where you started. Okay? And I would rather be proven wrong and become right about any issue in particular than I would stay wrong and keep thinking I'm right by ignoring evidence or making dishonest arguments. What are my thoughts on Joe Biden sending troops back to the Middle East? You would have to specify where and why. Is it Zad dispenser? Or Zaad dispenser? I'm not sure. I'm just going to call you Z. You would have to specify why, Z. I think us pulling out of Syria and abandoning our Kurdish allies who'd helped us during Iraq was a betrayal of massive proportions. I also think we allowed a huge power vacuum when we did that allowed Turkey and Russia to just step in. Am I in favor of wars for oil? No. Do not confuse me. I had friends that did not do so well or passed away during Operation Iraqi Freedom. And we went into Iraq over a flat lie. They had no weapons of mass destruction, as best we can determine now at the time. Do I predict that there will be more people like Marjorie Taylor Greene running on the Republican side? Yes, absolutely. I think Republicans right now are scared of Trump's base. And I think Trump's base basically boils down to liberals are bad, Democrats are bad, socialism is bad. I will believe whatever else I have to believe as long as it confirms those three things, and I will vote against anything that is those three things. The problem is these people vote often, consistently. They're very motivated voters. Extremely. If you really believe communism is taking over the United States, then you are an extremely motivated voter, which means you will show up for primaries. You will show up for midterm elections. You will show up for presidential elections. You will show up for the election for dog catcher. You will show up for the primary for the election for dog catcher. Which means if I want to run as a Republican, that guy is always going to vote. The other ones, the other 20, 30, 50, 70% of the Republican Party, whatever number you want to put on it, they don't always show up to vote. But that guy, he's going to show up to vote. So I'm going to do whatever I need to do to convince that guy that I'm the most liberal hating, commie hating, whatever, so that he'll vote for me, because he's always going to show up to vote. And as a result of this, you've seen a spiral in the Republican Party chasing that base, and it's gotten crazier and crazier. We've gone from, higher Democrats are the party of higher taxes. That's all they are. To, Democrats are now, part of a secret child pedophile ring if you buy into this QAnon conspiracy nonsense bullshit. But they're, literally all the Democrats up in Washington are now part of some secret child pedophile ring. And that's all it is. It's chasing the crazies. What do I think of the 9/11 conspiracy? I generally don't do conspiracy theories as a whole, Bali. You have to provide evidence. I follow evidence. I don't do conspiracy theories. Just like in science, you can say, what if the sun was to swallow the entire solar system? But then you have to go find the evidence to prove that theory out or that hypothesis out. Most conspiracy theories, in my experience, don't prove their ideas out with evidence. There's a whole bunch of random little threads that they try to tie together into one big ball. And if they're successful, it's no longer a conspiracy theory. It becomes the accepted historical reality or the accepted facts. The fact that you still think it's a conspiracy theory tells me pretty much all I need to know. Do I think Kanye West should be elected? What are his policies? I don't care about party. I don't care about individuals. I care about policies. If the Republicans tomorrow decided to become the party of Theodore Roosevelt again, hey, I'd be on board. It's not my fault that Republicans are running Marjorie Greenes, who thinks that the California wildfires were started by secret Jewish space lasers. Not making that up. She was. But when they decide to quit running those kinds of people and run the Theodore Roosevelts, who are in favor of giving workers a fair deal and a square deal and breaking up these big corporations that are monopolies and regulating the ones that they can't break up, I'll be right back on board. But you got to get rid of the nut jobs first. Trump's base doesn't like establishment Republicans. Trump even went after Jeb Bush, Romney, McCain, and others against him. If Republicans running in the future denounce Trump, they'll lose. From Low Figure. Yes, I tend to agree with you. Trump's only out for Trump. That's all. I mean, that's consistent throughout his lifetime. I do agree that it would cost a lot of Republicans elections if they came out against Trump. But they need to put the country over their party loyalty or over their own personal success. You're supposed to be serving your country, not trying to benefit yourself. And this is one of those instances. We saw where this ended. Why is it okay for the Biden administration to offer vaccine to Guantanamo Bay 9/11 terrorist masterminds before most Americans get it? Okay, so I'm not going to agree with everything that the Biden administration does. First off, in case you're new, I'm not just a Democrat. I'm going to follow policies, not parties and not individuals. If an individual or a party comes out with a policy that I disagree with, then I'm going to tell you I disagree with it. To answer your question, if the United States take somebody into custody, they are responsible for those individuals. Those individuals become a ward of the state. They are responsible for them. In a detention facility, you're going to be living in extremely close proximity. I would imagine COVID would spread rather quickly in those kind of environments. You know, that's the reason that we kicked everybody out of universities and went to remote training. I can't do that with prisoners. Hey, go stay at home, 9/11 terrorist mastermind. Just make sure and Zoom call in so we can make sure you're serving your sentence. That's not going to work, brother. So yes, unfortunately, as a ward of the state, we have a responsibility. You can't just walk in and shoot him in the head. Low Figure, I'm going to wait till you're back, but we are wrapping up the stream, brother, so you're going to have to call next week.
If there's one takeaway today from last night's key Republican primary races across the country, it may be tread lightly when it comes to taking on Trump. But what might that mean for the midterm? CNN's Tom Foreman has more on the Trump effect in full force.
I'm running for Congress to get things done, not to go on CNN to bash President Trump.
In South Carolina, Republican Katie Arrington rode her praise of President Trump to a swift primary victory over incumbent Congressman Mark Sanford, a Trump critic. The final push coming 3 hours before the vote. Mark Sanford has been very unhelpful to me. Vote Katie.
It may have cost me an election in this case, but I stand by every one of those decisions to disagree with the president.
Thank you, Virginia!
In Virginia,
Want to stand with President Trump? There's only one choice.
Corey Stewart took the Trump train to victory by adding tough talk on immigration to his already controversial support for Confederate memorials, prompting celebration from the White House and sadness from a former lieutenant governor. I am extremely disappointed. This is clearly not the Republican Party I once knew. And just a week ago in Alabama, another incumbent Congressmember, Martha Roby, was forced into a runoff, fallout from her criticism of Trump. At the Capitol, Republican Speaker of the House Paul Ryan is trying to brush off the Trump effect.
That's just what happens in contested primaries.
But while just over 40% of Americans approve of the president's performance, among Republicans that number is more than twice as high.
Donald Trump's popularity with Republicans is unprecedented.
We're in a strange place. I mean, it's almost it's becoming a cultish thing, isn't it?
Tennessee Senator Bob Corker complains that now his party won't even back measures it supports unless Trump does too.
We might poke the bear. The president might get upset with us as United States senators.
For some Republicans, the trend is a seismic, unwelcome, and unwise shift. But in the primary winners' circle, the message is different. Get over it, get in line, get used to it.
We are the party of President Donald J. Trump.
Whether Trump can now push some of these primary winners to general election victory is very much in doubt, especially in more moderate districts. But within the party, all the old litmus tests about ideology, taxes, abortion rights have virtually disappeared, and they've been replaced with one question alone. Are you for or against Donald Trump?
And for means no criticism whatsoever.
Yeah, none. Not little bits, not light criticism,
none at all.
Not moderate, nothing.
Lo, if you just got back from the restroom, we're wrapping the stream up, brother, so you're going to have to call in next week. If that's not you on the caller, same thing applies to you. I'm sorry. You're more than welcome to call in next week. On that note, that was the 2018 midterms that you saw. That the party platform for the Republican National Party is being replaced with only a litmus test of loyalty to Trump, yay or nay, straight or down. For the 2020 election, the Republican Party literally had no platform. Just, we support the president. At that point in time, Donald Trump. So yes, to answer, I believe it was Lowe's question, I think we are going to continue to see a descent into just support for the president or just support for Donald Trump. That's all that matters. And there has to be more than that. Evidence has to matter. Facts have to matter. Information has to matter. 400,000 dead Americans have to matter. It can't just be a Democratic hoax because it's not convenient for you politically. Reality has to matter. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope to see you next week, every Sunday, 2 to 4 p.m. We're going to run the intro trailer as the exit, and I hope to talk to y'all next week. The time for silence is over.
But are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists and militia groups?
I came here to speak on behalf of Donald Trump.
Do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. You want to call them, what do you want to call them? Very fine people on both sides.
And for the white Christian people of this nation.
Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
right like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud
militia.
Boys, stand back and stand by.
In fourth degree, you get arrested or in a serious violent fight for the cause.
Really?
Yes. I'm taking the low road. I'm punching them in the face.
So that.
I attacked a couple guys.
Very fine people on both sides.
Jews will not replace us! Jews will not replace us!
So I punched him in the face and I ripped his mask off. And then I punched him again.
President Trump retweeted a video showing a supporter making a racist statement.
White power! White power!
Very fine people on both sides.
Did Hitler do anything wrong? No!
Fuck no!
First preset of the true alt-right. Remember it. Gas the concentration!
Let's have trial by combat. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
Are you willing tonight to condemn white supremacists? Right,
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by.
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Join me every Sunday afternoon for a new show where common citizens, you and I together, discuss with each other issues of today, where we demand proof and evidence is required, where we seek the truth and will not be silent. Join me this coming Sunday afternoon and take part in America's oldest and most honored tradition.